Grin, Mark, on the V plus or the raindrop. Questions from the audience?
Спасибо большое за прекраснейшее выступление, за интересный доклад. Хочется узнать, что вы думаете, что будет с этим имплантатом в отдаленные сроки. Что я имею в виду? Я имею в виду образование капсулы. Понятное дело, что материал хорошо совместим, и капсула будет формироваться по физиологическому для роговицы типу, прозрачному. Но она будет. И имплантат по краю имеет у вас 12 микрон. Соответственно, капсула вокруг имплантата тоже будет формироваться. И со временем она будет больше. Это все по центру зрачка. Соответственно, пациент может это со временем начинать видеть. Я имею в виду, это будет мешать ему. Первый момент. Второй момент. С возрастом у пациента будет прогрессировать пресбиопия. С возрастом у человека будет ухудшаться нейроадаптация. Вот в этом аспекте просто интересно узнать, как ваше мнение. Может быть, у вас пока еще нету длительного времени наблюдения за этой клинической ситуацией. Но что вы по этому думаете? Спасибо.
Thank you. I'll try to answer the question. Obviously, as you mentioned, we don't know the long-term results of this inlay. However, with the patients that I have implanted at the moment, the discussion preoperatively is very important, because I point out to the patients that the presbyopia is progressive, that lens changes in time could change the refraction if they can drift hyperopic anyway. And so I say to them, this is not a permanent solution for your presbyopia. I say to them that the amount of benefit that they will get from the implant will diminish with time because of the progression of the presbyopia. And the patients accept this, so long as it's all disclosed before. And I say to them, if the lens changes, then eventually we will probably need to change the lens. And that the solution for presbyopia is a progressive solution. That there's not one solution for everyone, and there's not one solution for you for the rest of your life. In terms of the anatomy, the microstructure around the capsule, around the inlay, I'm not aware that the space will enlarge with time, but if it does, it is possible to remove this inlay very easily. But I haven't seen that in the time that the experience I've had. But it should be very easy to remove if the need should arise. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
More from the audience, Jerome, and then Vicente, and then.
Obviously, you change the asphericity, right? And why you don't put on both sides this inlay? Because you will improve your facility to learn, to read and to see from far, like we do like a Presby LASIK in our platform.
That's a good question. Well, it would technically be possible to put this into both eyes. The thing is that if the patient's happy with one eye being done, then there's no reason to do the other eye. However, if the patient wasn't happy and said to me, I want the other eye done, in an extended study we could look at that. We haven't experienced with it at the moment, but it's not an exclusion. It's something perhaps for the future.
Vicente? Wait.
Why don't you use pocket for the implantation? Only use flap? Or there are not devices for the implantation with pocket? Or why?
I think there are benefits with the pocket perhaps. There's no device for implanting it into the pocket at the moment. The consistency of this inlay is quite different to the other inlays available. And it is much more gel-like. It's not very rigid, it's not very firm. And to implant it, you have to make sure it comes out and it's flat. And if you do implant it and it crumples with an injector, that would be a problem, especially if it's deep and in the pocket. The consistency is very much like the capsule of the lens. You take out a little piece of capsular excess, that's what it's like. And to inject that will be difficult, possibly in the future. But there are advantages of not using a pocket, and the advantages are that, of course, if you create a pocket, the pocket has to be central. If you get this pocket off center, you have troubles. Whereas with this, when you create a flap, it's much easier to center the implant because it's not dependent on the pocket. The other thing is that because we can do LASIK at the same time with the same flap, we don't have to create another layer which has potential for another step, maybe developing a complication. So there are pros and cons on both sides. But the simple answer is there's no injectable device for a pocket at this stage.
We take one more question. I have been given signs that we have to cut short. Please.
Ваш имплант имеет стандартные параметры. Ваша тактика при гиперметропии исходная или при гиперметропическом астигматизме? Ласик или что-либо другое?
Thank you. The question is about if the patient has concomitant refractive error. The answer is I haven't yet. I have just done emmetropes, but Enrique Barragan and some of my other colleagues have done patients who have concomitant refractive errors, myopia or hyperopia. The strategy then is you must make a decision about whether you're going to ultimately have the patient emmetropic with an inlay or slightly myopic, and then the decision would be whether I aim for emmetropy with my LASIK, with the inlay in, knowing that they're going to develop a minus a half diopter myopic shift, or whether I aim for plus 050 and leave them at emmetropy when the inlay's in. And that's a decision you'd have to come to with the patient and say to them and try to establish from the patient what they are looking for.
Okay, thank you very much. The interest is obviously extremely high.